Hey guys, thought I'd bring you a little update on our truck situation. If you watched our last video, you saw that we were having a little bit of truck issues the other day, and it's got a little stressful, but I think we got through most of it now. We are back out in our camp spot, just hanging out now. But to bring you up to date, we were coming out here camping, I don't know, a little while ago, a couple days. Maybe like a week ago, and on our way in we had a light come on the truck for the StabiliTrak traction control, I guess it is, for the truck. We didn't really have any issues with it on the way in, so we just figured it was probably maybe a fuse or something, some kind of a malfunction with the truck. So we're like, we'll just check it out when we go back out again, or maybe it'll just go off on its own. And so we got in and we camped for a couple days, and then we went back out to go get some more food and stuff. And on our way out, the light stayed on, so we're still in the process of figuring that out. We have an appointment in a couple days to go get it checked out. But when we were actually in the city, which is just a little city, once I got up to speed to be about like 40 miles an hour, it felt like the anti-lock brakes were like kicking in while I was driving. So it like kept like skidding, and I'd have to pull off the road, and it then would kick unstick, and I'd just keep going again. So it was just really weird. Once I got it up to speed, it would keep doing that. So still working on that situation, but when I drive slow, it seems to be fine. And I called a couple companies, and the ones that did answer didn't really know what was going on. It looked like online a lot of people were having issues with StabiliTrak, but a couple of them said it might just be trying to shift into four-wheel drive or something like that. But so we're gonna have to go check that out. That brings up a whole nother situation about being in a city and having to get your vehicle checked out, because I called like the Chevy dealership because I figured they would be the best to send it to since it's a Chevy vehicle and if it's covered under warranty or anything like that. And they won't even be able to look at it for like another 2 weeks because they're so booked. So we have so many appointments that we can't even get in for 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, I can't drive on it because my anti-lock brakes are kicking in while I'm driving. So I'm like, I'm not going to drive it around for another 2 weeks while I wait for you to come look at it. So that's kind of annoying enough. So then I called a whole bunch of like little mom and pop stores, and none of them even answered their phone. So it was hard enough just to try to get into somewhere. So we still have to wait another couple days just to get into somewhere. But so we just figured we would come back out and camp again and wait for our appointment, I guess. But so on the way into town, we actually ended up running over like this big rock that was in the middle of the road. We were like coming up over a hill, and you can't really see anything with the big front end of the truck, and we hit this rock. So that kind of freaked us out. We got over it fine. It wasn't that big of an issue, but we got out and looked, and it turned out like one of our turnbuckles was hanging loose. So this one like came off completely, and it turned out like the weight of the truck going up from the bump like ended up bending the S hook down here. So I had to bend it back now. But when it bent, the whole turnbuckle fell off, or it was just hanging from up here. And then since it was loose, it shifted the whole camper. So the whole thing like twisted sideways, so there was actually a gap like over there. So that put this whole side of the camper like really close to the truck. So when I hooked the turnbuckles back up again, it was like scraping on the car there. So that really sucked. And I was like, well, I'll just push the camper back over and we'll be all right, because that's pretty much how we centered it in the first place. We just pushed it over. But that was before we had anything in it. So we're like, it can't be that much more heavy now, but I guess we have a lot of stuff in it. So I was hoping I would just be able to like back up a hill and use the incline and the weight if I pushed it, if it would just like push itself forward. And that didn't work, so I tried to push it from the back, and that didn't work. So I was like, well, I'll just figure it out in the city, and I'll get the jacks out, and I can jack it up, worst case scenario, and then back underneath it. So made it to the city, and then we had the whole StabiliTrak problem first, so that was annoying. And then so we went to the park, and we just parked, and we kind of took a breather for a second, and got all the jack equipment out. And then it turned out when we put the bolts back on where the jack stands are at, for like when we put the bolts on there, when we left Iowa, we put them on with like impact wrench. So they were super freaking tight, and I don't have any impact wrench with me or drill, and all I have is this little tool that comes with it that is actually for cranking up the jack up and down, and the other end it actually has the wrench side, but it's just hooked to this little piece of metal, so it pretty much is really flimsy. And then I couldn't get the wrench in the back of it to actually hold it tight because it just kept spinning the whole thing. So I WD-40'd it for how long, and I finally got them all off. So once I got them all off, it was super easy, and then I could jack the camper up, and I just backed up and for like an inch, and then everything was set back in place, drop it back down, rehook the turnbuckles, and now we're good to go. I replaced some of the hooks down here. I got this one replaced, so I'll have to get some more of them, but this one's replaced with the new like heavy-duty one, so now I shouldn't have to worry about that one breaking, but I think a couple of the other ones are like the original ones that came with it when we bought the truck. So they're a little older. So I'll have to get some new ones, and then we should never have to have that issue again. But the rest of the camper stayed on fine, and there was no damage to the camper. It was just more time that was wasted. And with the other problem that we were having, this was not a good added issue. So it made our city day even more fun. But it went all right, and so the torque lift tie downs have been working great, and the chain didn't break, so those are all good signs. So we should be good for forever now, once I get the new S hooks. But so that's what's going on with that. So that turned out good, and so our appointment will be in a couple days for the StabiliTrak, and I guess we'll let you know what happens there. Hopefully it's just something simple. Considering there's been so many issues with it on the internet, I hope it's something just like a quick fix, but we'll see. I guess I'll update you guys in a couple days on that one. But thanks for watching, guys.